Severn Trent, you need to sort it out, because that is the cold water main to the whole building. Severn Trent have said that's what it, well, that's what it could be, but it's the first port of call, so hopefully, touch wood, that'll sort the issue out. Always look after your hometown. When people say to me, how do you go about getting business? Have your van sign written. You can now look at getting these out, and hopefully when we take these out, I'd like to see them all furred up, or at least blocked up in some way, shape or form. And blow test. Every plumber does a blow test, I think. Yeah, that's clear. 16 litres a minute, 3-bar consistent working pressure on it. So I'm a little bit baffled with it, to be honest. So there you go. We've gained nothing. So it will be a case now again, we're contacting Severn Trent, and it's still exactly the same. They need to be able to provide a better water supply than 2 litres a minute, near on 1 bar of pressure. Right, welcome back to the channel, hope you're all doing well. Today's video is an issue with an incoming main. Now, they can be really problematic, and really, is it the incoming main? Is it there an issue internally in the house? We've been battling with this one a little bit. So I'll give you a little lowdown on it. I got called out to a customer of mine a few weeks ago, and she had really low water pressure. She hadn't thought nothing really was too wrong. It's crazy how people just put up with what they've got. So I've gone there, had a look, put the weir gauge on it, and it's showing, I think it was 1.5 to 2 litres a minute. So absolutely horrendous water flow rate. Put a test on it with my gauge. It was 3 bar of standing pressure. As soon as you turned the tap on, that pressure dropped down to 0.5 bar. So we checked next door. Next door was 16 litres a minute, fine. I'll probably show you this when I'm doing it anyway. So we checked next door, 16 litres a minute, fine. So it tells us there's a problem with the main. My initial thought was there was a leak on the main somewhere, because they said the cellar had been a little bit damp. So I said to the customer, speak to Severn Trent, get them to come out and test it. If there's a leak, they'll sort it out. Severn Trent came out, come back to her and said, everything seems fine. But on her incoming main, there was the original stop tap, and then a stop tap above it. Now, a lot of times people, if they've got a stop tap that's knackered or won't turn off, some people will just put a working stop tap above it, which is what's happened here. Severn Trent thought, well, possibly it's furring up, it's blocking up. They advised both of them stop taps to come out, new one in, and it should be fine. So I'm going out today to remove both of them stop taps, putting a new one in, and hopefully, touch wood, that sorts the issues out, because obviously we want 16 litres a minute, same as what next door have got. If you've got issues with your water pressure, just speak to your water supplier, which this customer's done. They've advised this, so we're going to go today and take a look and hopefully sort it out. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let's get on with the video. So before you carry on, I just want to let you know there's a couple of little bits in this upcoming video, probably 4 or 5 minutes at the start and a few little bits in the middle where the audio for some reason was all over the place. So I've re-recorded it as a bit of a voiceover, so you'll notice the audio sort of levels drop out a little bit. So I just thought I'd let you know, because someone's bound to pick up on it. So yeah, anyway, I'll let you carry on. So we're here now. If we turn the water on, and you'll see the initial moment when you turn it on, there's a burst where the pressure's built up inside the main. But as you're watching it, you'll see the water pressure drop off like that, and it is literally just dribbling out of the tap. So I pop the weir gauge on it, and as you can see, it's barely even reaching 2 litres a minute through this gauge, which is just, you know, if they use the hose in the garden, the water in the house basically stops everywhere. So yeah, under 2 litres a minute, that's no good at all. So this is upstairs. The toilets are even struggling to fill. You flush them and it takes an age for them cisterns to fill. And look at the cold on the tap upstairs. It's barely dribbling out. We've got the incoming main there. We've got the old stop tap there, which I think was possibly seized on or off, and the new one there. The top one works fine, but what I think is this bottom one is either going to be furred up, or hoping it's furred up, because it just, you know, it won't turn at all. It's solid. They've been turning it on and off with the second one. So I think this bottom one is the one that's furred up. Hopefully there's the issue. But what we'll do, we'll take both of them out anyway and replace with just a single stop tap. So this is next door. That's the property I'm in at the moment, and this is the house directly next door. The customer's got access to this house, so I thought while we're here, we'll pop the weir gauge on it, and just to show you that this house fed off the same main, just with a separate stop tap. There's 16 litres a minute here. You can see the difference straight away in this way it's coming out. But if you look at that, I don't know if you can make it out on the video, but it is near on 15, 16 litres a minute. You can clearly see there's a huge difference from next door to in here. So there's an issue somewhere. So that is what I think the issue is in here, or sort of makes sense what the issue is going to be. Severn Trent have said that's what it, well, that's what it could be, but it's the first port of call. So hopefully, touch wood, that'll sort the issue out. So we'll get the water shut off now and get that drain down and get that switched over. So when I came out to look at this job last week, I did test the stop tap just to make sure it turned off. Now when I got here, it was probably a foot deep of mud that I had to dig out. So we dug that out last week, and in there somewhere is, there it is the actual tap, and to be fair, it turns off all right. So we'll get this turned off. It's not a bad view, to be fair. Lovely Warwick. To be honest, Warwick Castle, if you're that bothered, is about a stone's throw that way. The entrance for the castle is just there, and if you watch me regular, that is the guest house just down there that I do a lot of work at as well. So like I say to people, always look after your hometown. When people say to me, how do you go about getting business, have your van sign written, because if you're driving around your local town all the time, I mean, I've been working for myself now for 15, 16 years, so the local people in the towns around near me know me. But for me, sign written van around your local town works wonders. But let's get the stop tap turned off. So that's off. Always pop that back down, otherwise you've got a risk of someone falling down it. Right, as I said, water's off. We can now look at getting these out, and hopefully when we take these out, I'd like to see them all furred up, or at least blocked up in some way, shape or form. What I'll do is undo as many of these nuts as I can, just so it's got like a bit of a concertina effect in the pipe work, and hopefully one of them will allow us to get it off. But it's dead tight, to be honest. There we go. Perfect. Whew. That's them two stop taps taken off. Now I was hoping to see, I don't know if you can make it out, I was hoping to see this one, this original one, all furred up inside, but to be perfectly honest, it seems to be quite free flowing. There doesn't seem to be any sort of restrictions in them, which is what I was hoping there would be. Right, all we can do then is pop the new stop tap on there, reconnect everything up, and turn it back on really and try it. But yeah, I was hopefully it's internal and there is an issue with it, but I was just hoping to see it a lot more furred up inside than it is. So yeah, the blow test. Every plumber does a blow test, I think. Yep, that's clear. We've got the new stop tap here, so we'll pop that on, and hopefully it's just me and my scientific evaluation that's wrong and there is an issue with it, but it does seem to be fairly free flowing. Alright, let's get this on connected and reconnect this back up and see where we're at. So we'll pop a nut and olive onto this existing incoming main, put some paste around it just to make sure Yeah, I always put paste on compression fittings anyway. And then we'll get the stop tap on and get it tightened up. And then what I can do then, once it's on and tight, and then we can go outside and get the main back on. So that's the stop tap on. Let's turn that off completely and then go outside and get the water back on. So let's get this up, see if we can locate where this stop tap is again and get it turned back on. There we go, easy enough. So we'll turn that on, completely on full, and pop back inside and make sure everything is okay. Right, let's have a look, make sure this stop tap is all okay. So the water's on, and let's just dry that off around there, make sure it's fine. So that's the water on, yeah, water's come through, and we know we're all right there. So that's that sorted. We just pipe up off the top of there now and connect back onto the existing pipework. Let's clean this pipe up now, ready to solder a coupler on and get it reconnected up. Just put a bit of paste on there. Right, there we go. It's probably not the neatest soldering, but I've never proclaimed to be, the way a lot of people seem to be, the tiniest little blob of solder either end, and so it looks nice. I'd rather have it not leaking, if I'm perfectly honest. So that's our new stop tap in position, soldered up, and with the old ones here, let's get this back on and see if the water pressure is a lot better. So we've got the new stop tap on now. Going on what the water company told the customer was that there was no leaks in the ground from their side, from the mains, and judging by the two stop taps on there, probably furred up or one slightly shut off, because the customer said it's slowly deteriorated over time. So we've now changed the stop tap. I've just turned the water back on, and with near on exactly the same. We've gained nothing from that. Look at the weir gauge on it, we're still barely 2 litres a minute on the weir gauge. And if I turn that tap off, that then allows the water pressure to build back up in the main. I've got my pressure testing gauge on it here, and it's showing 3 bar standing pressure. So on that, 3 bar standing pressure when there's nothing drawing on the main, so it's 3 bar. Now if I'll turn this tap on, so it's running. This gauge is now showing that it is 1 bar of pressure. The gauge is slightly funny because the pin constantly sits on 4 bar, so I know now it's on 5 bar, it's only 1 bar, if that makes sense. So working pressure of it is 1 bar. I need to get a new gauge actually. Yeah, so with the water running inside the house, there's 1 bar of pressure and barely 2 litres per minute. And as we showed earlier, next door, 16 litres a minute, 3 bar consistent working pressure on it. So I'm a little bit baffled with it, to be honest. So there you go. We've gained nothing by fitting that new stop tap. So it will be a case now again, the customer contacting Severn Trent saying we had someone out, they advised us to change the stop tap, we've done that and it's still exactly the same. They need to be able to provide a better water supply than 2 litres a minute at near on 1 bar of pressure, because that is no good to anyone. So now I'll have to let the customer know that yes, we've done what the water board, the water authority has suggested, but it's not sorted out the issue. So all I can think of is maybe outside where that main is. I don't know, for some reason in the back of my mind they said they tested it for leaks, I assume. So basically that main is coming in here. I would gather it's coming along here to this point and then directly that way, because the stop tap is just the other side of this wall. So yeah, I was hoping they wouldn't go under the house. I'd hope they'd go that way and then that way. But yeah, I personally think there's an issue here. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to sort it out. So we'll have to let the customer know. So just coming back inside now, it is now dropped down to half a bar. It's not even 1 bar of incoming mains working pressure with that tap running. It's less than half a bar, which is crap. So Severn Trent, you need to sort it out, because that is the cold water main to the whole building. Now that is not good at all. So I'm just in the middle of tidying up, putting my tools away, sorting everything out, cleaning everywhere down. I thought I'll just give Severn Trent a ring myself. So I went onto the website, found the direct number for supply issues, rang them direct, and the woman on the phone was great, because sometimes it's better while I'm here, I can talk them through the litres per minute that we aren't getting, the pressure, the working pressure that we've got outside, the pressure, the standing pressure of the water and everything. And it just, I suppose if the plumber rings up on behalf of the customer, sometimes, you know, hopefully Severn Trent will sort of get here. Anyway, the woman on the phone was good as gold. She took all the details and she said, right, I'll get an engineer to ring you back within the next 10 minutes. So hopefully, because I've rung up and told them that they've had an engineer come out in the first place and they recommended replacing the stop tap, which we've done, and that's still not sorted the problem out. Hopefully they'll get someone out pretty sharpish. So they said they're going to call back in the next 10 minutes, so we'll wait and see just while I finish cleaning up here, and hopefully we can get it sorted out for the customer. Sometimes you just got to do that little bit extra. It's no skin off my nose to ring them up while I'm here. If they say, oh, we're going to be 3 hours or whatever, then obviously the customer's not going to pay me to sit around for 3 hours and wait for him to come out. But we have got, funny enough, we have got a Severn Trent water pumping station probably half a mile down the road. I don't think it's a massive issue from their end, because next door's fine. It's just this property. So I would hazard a guess is the stop tap in the road collapsed? You know, the pipe coming into this building, let's say the side of the building's dropped slightly, or roots of a tree have got through it and crushed the incoming main slightly, but we'll see. So I'll wait for him to ring back. Hopefully it'll be soon. So yeah, possibly get it sorted out for the customer. It's just about these little things, and customers remember you've gone that little extra mile for them. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So just literally got off the phone to Severn Trent. They can't get here. Today is the 8th, I think. They can't physically get to this site till the 26th of this month to have a look at this. I gave them all the information. I gave them the litres per minute we're now getting on the job, the standing pressure, the still pressure. And I also said to them as well, as a bit of a precautionary thing, because there's hardly any pressure, the water's not getting up to the toilets very well. So it could be a sanitary issue. You know, they can't flush the toilets, or they can. Each flush takes probably 3 hours to fill the system back up because there is no water pressure. So I've mentioned that to Severn Trent on the phone. They've said that's the date, but if I get a window or an engineer can get out earlier and have a look, then they will. But yeah, so you know, an extra 20 minutes, half hour on the job, just ringing them up from a plumber's perspective to them sometimes holds a little bit more clout. And you know, they can ask me, what's the, you know, how many litres per minute is going into the property. A lot of the time homeowner wouldn't be able to work that out, or wouldn't be able to tell them. So they've got all the information, they can work with that. Hopefully they can get it sorted out. But what I will do is speak to the customer and see when they get here on that day, if she can ring me, and I'll just come out as well and just out of interest really, we can film it and see exactly what is wrong with it. So yeah, sometimes, you know, this is one of them jobs. Very rarely you get a job that you can't sort out, but we've done everything we can with that stop tap going in. Unfortunately, it is the same as when we came out to it. If you found this interesting, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop me a comment. Drop me a comment what you think it might be. I think it's going to be a tree root crushing the incoming main. Don't think it's going to be a leak because they've said before they can't hear a leak on it. But yeah, drop in the comment what you think it's going to be, and we'll find out on the 26th of August. Right, laters.